And hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Gronks on Dogs pre-recorded podcast. I can tell you right now, this one's going to be an autistic argument debate. We're going to be talking about what is it that makes a good Horde mode. So something like Call of...
Shut your fucking mouth! No problem, John. Shut the fuck up, you cunt! Shut it!
We are fucking back. It's the new year, and guess what? With that new year, I'm gonna make Maz my come whore. Come whore. Come whore. Come whore. Come whore.
All right, well, let's just go ahead and get started. We're going to be talking about Horde modes.
I lost a $50 bill behind my fucking desk. Hold on, give me a minute.
You deserve that. You deserve that for cutting me off, you fucking asshole. Yeah, so this came from, I reckon about a month and a half, maybe 2 months ago. We were talking about the Space Marine 2 upcoming Horde mode, and me and Moz had a pretty big fucking disagreement. And at the time, we both wanted to keep arguing and keep talking about it, but we had a live stream, a live show to do at the time, so we had to hard cut that conversation. But we're going to do it now here, and we're going to let these other guys talk before we get into that. So I'm going to start off with Come Whore Cream NATO. Cream, what do you think it is that makes a good Horde mode?
Well, first off, I'm not the cum whore. You guys are. Second off, this money will be gone very quickly. Thirdly, what makes a good Horde mode? I actually don't think it's that complicated to explain what makes it. I think it's more complicated to actually make a good Horde mode. What it is really a compelling gameplay loop. I think that's what it comes down to, more than in other modes, because I think with strategy games and Horde modes, I think those two are very similar in the sense that you're going to be basically doing the exact same action over and over and over and over and over again, hopefully for multiple hours. Whereas, like, I don't know, with other types of games, there's a little bit more variety than, and most games don't have that much more variety, but your brain's gonna be like, oh, I'm doing, if I'm playing the finals, well, I'm not just shooting people, I'm going over the map, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. With some things, your brain is just going to be like, I'm just doing this thing over and over again. So what it is you need something that has a really compelling gameplay loop. Look at COD Zombies. Very compelling gameplay loop, especially the old ones. In my opinion, I really like the old ones. They had a really good, compelling gameplay loop, and I think that's key above anything else. I don't even, to be honest, I know Moz disagrees. I know he thinks you should have a story for a Horde mode. I don't think that's necessary at all. And I don't even think you need to expand much on the world besides like little tidbits of lore. But I think it's really just making it fun as fuck.
Before we let Mozza fucking screech and call us all retards for 30 minutes, Jono, what about you? What makes a good Horde mode?
Yeah, I'm pretty much falling in the same line as Kareem. The core gameplay, the game loop mechanics, that is very essential to what makes a good Horde mode. If you don't have that, then it's going to get stale. It's going to die out quick. But if you have those core, not just the general gameplay loop, but those core mechanics of how you kill your enemies or how you take out those waves. If that's not satisfactory, then you're screwed when it comes to Horde mode being a long-term game mode being played on whatever game that it is on. Now, I would have to somewhat agree with Mazda. There needs to be at least somewhat of a something, not like an actual like full-on plot built up for the Horde mode itself, but at least this thin veil of that makes sense within the universe of whatever game it is. Like, for example, with Space Marine 2, it be defend these waves so that your allies can get from point A to point B, or these civilians can get off the ship. That's all it needs. That's all that, at least for those things. But just little tiny things like that allow it to fit within the universe. And the other thing that Horde mode, there needs to be the enemies are also just as important. They need to be fun to go up against and combat. Like for bringing up Space Marine 2, the Carnifex and all the other major elite enemies that you fight up against. Those are always a little small bit of a challenge, but the to kill them, to take them out, the takedowns, so satisfactory. And that can be applied to multiple other games. There's not only like Space Marine 2, but many other games like Doom has its own kind of horde mode with its own little I forget what it's called, but Doom Eternal, it has its own little arena that you can basically practice and train. It essentially functions like horde mode. That gameplay loop is so damn fun, and it just it's playable. Now we can jump in from like different game genres, how they function with horde mode, which I would say first person shooters are the easiest to make for a horde mode. But with that, yeah, essentially those are the gist of it from my end.
Well, let's just go right to Moz then, who's going to tell us why we're all wrong and we're just a bunch of fucking idiots. Go on, Moz.
The reason why COD Zombies is at the top is because they did something no other Horde ever fucking did. Story and gameplay together. And the reason why there was 100,000 people watching Noah J at the end of Black Ops 3 was not because the gameplay was fucking fantastic, which it was. Don't get me wrong. But people were there to see the ending of Call of Duty fucking Zombies. So if you can add that story, which Space Marine 2, something like that can. I'm not saying every Horde mode needs that story. But I think if you have the universe, I think if you have the talent to actually make it its own fucking thing. Because let's be honest, the Halo games, their Horde modes, 4 times. You play it like 4 times and you forget about it, right? Whereas something like COD Zombies, I will go back to over and over and over again because of the story and because of the gameplay loop. I will admit the gameplay loop is the most important thing, but if you can add that fucking story, it takes it to the next fucking level.
Go on, Cream.
I don't know how to unpack his autism. I can't. So you agreed. You basically just agreed with what we said. In order to make a good horde mode, you don't need a story. What you need is basically
you do need a story. If you want to make it great, yes, you do. Black Ops Zombies.
I think we're saying good.
Yeah. And what do you mean by story?
Great.
Actually, that's a good point.
What do you mean by story?
What do you mean by story?
Yeah.
Fuck you. Okay. The thing is,
Did he say fuck you?
Well, yeah, fuck you. But the thing about horde modes is I don't even think they've reached the level that where, all right, COD Zombies, that horde mode could go even more beyond than what it can right now. It's a good horde mode, but it can go fucking levels beyond even that it is right now, right? Where it can add like operations to the horde. They can add way more story bits to the horde, more fucking bigger maps, smaller maps. I don't even think the horde mode genre is at the level it actually fucking could be right now. Like I feel like a lot of companies, it's always just a little side thing that they always work on. They add it to another game. They don't fucking make it as big as it possibly could be, because realistically, it's so frustrating seeing what Zombies could be, and it's just fucking not. Like it could be its own fucking game, not a side thing. I don't know. There's just many hordes that's like, okay, jump in, shoot this. Okay, that's fun for a little bit, but there's just not many horde games that are taking it to the next game, where the upgrade system, the level up system, the fucking all that is just, they don't do it well. Like one of actually something I always thought was actually really good was actually from Gears, when you could actually upgrade barriers and stuff like that, and traps and stuff. I always thought that was a cool idea. Even in COD Zombies, when they added traps and shit like that, there needs to be more expanded on that. Maps itself are actually the most important thing. The atmosphere, I feel like, is very bland in a lot of hordes. It's very just either a shit building or a military base, and they don't really use, like, okay, think about this town. The map is difficult and challenging because the lava on the ground. There's not much, like, the map
Black Ops 2.
Black Ops 2 town. Yeah, the lava is attacking you and stuff like that. And I feel like a lot of maps could be doing certain stuff like that. In Zetsubo Noshima from Black Ops 3, you could shoot these things and they did this weird gas. And if that went onto a zombie, it upgraded the zombie into the special. Like the map, a lot of horde modes don't allow the map to breathe in itself and be its own thing as well. Like Mob of the Dead, it feels like its own you know how people describe Gotham, how it's its own character? A lot of zombie maps, the reason why people love them as well is because the map itself is telling a fucking story in the background. It's telling it's almost alive, and that's why we love fucking Mob of the Dead, Origins, fucking Shadows of Evil, especially. Holy fuck. A lot of these, like, they're so fucking good.
Aura. So basically, they have aura.
Aura.
I think he came a little when he said Shadows of Evil.
Yeah, he really liked that one.
What you're describing is good level design.
Yeah.
Which can be found beyond Horde mode. And
yeah, that's literally that
levels.
would actually be an argument for every game being good would be also good.
Well, who knew that? Huh, that's crazy. Like, who knew? Yeah, that's a good argument for Horde mode, though. Like, Horde mode's now just very basic, very just one room, like little things. It's just, I hope.
Well, here's my counterpoint to that is like a lot, like you said, a lot of these things are like the side mode. That's just like a little extra thing, right?
Yep.
If I want to do the full story experience, I'll go to the campaign.
Yep.
Right. If I want to do the full sweaty multiplayer or whatever, I'll do the multiplayer.
Yep.
The Horde mode is me sitting in my underwear, fucking just on wave after wave of killing Locust until eventually a berserker comes in and just comes in and just rushes me down and rips my head off. All right. Like I don't need the Horde mode, specifically the mode, to have a full-on story behind it. If it's there, it's there. That's fine. But even something like COD Zombies storyline is very cryptic, right? Like you could go through all of COD Zombies from World at War to Black Ops 6 and have no fucking idea what's going on. It's there if you pay attention, and if you want to know more about it, it is there. But I wouldn't say that taking that away takes away less enjoyment. If anything, having it there adds more. But not having it doesn't subtract. It's an addition. It doesn't go both ways.
That would really fall on the amount of immersion. It depends on the player, really. If they want the immersion, then that is definitely a factor at play. But if they're there just for the gameplay itself, then that's a bit of a different story.
Something like Noct and Varrocked, I agree with you. Because their story was added later, where we're 4 soldiers looking for Richthofen's diary and stuff. Okay, fine. You're gonna get the same experience from Noct and Varrocked. Fuck, even Shimanuma. But adding that story of how the dogs became a thing, I'd say added to the map. How the dogs became a thing was Samantha getting teleported with her dog, and the dog turning into a zombie, and that's how we got dogs. So stuff like that, I would argue yes. So that did add to it as well, and that was like, oh my god, that's such a cool thing. And then it's like,
yes, it adds. But not knowing that doesn't subtract. If I'm just sitting down playing and I hear "fetch me their souls," I'm like, "Oh, look, it's a fucking demon dog on fire running at me." That's cool.
If you know it's a little girl's dead dog, that I feel like that kind of adds to the.
Yes, that is addition. That is addition.
Yeah.
But if you do not know that, that is not subtracting from your experience. It's still a demon dog running at you, and you're still going to be like, "Oh, look, that's cool," and all that type of shit. Whereas something like, again, Gears of War, you go, I am pretty positive that Marcus Phoenix, Dizzy, Anthony Carmine, who should be dead by Gears of War 2 start, and Hoffman never held out in some tunnel filled with emulsion against wave after wave after wave. You go, no, it's just there to have fun and go for like a high score type of thing. Very like old school in that regard. In fact, last night I was really trying to think what was the very first Horde mode I ever played. And do you know what I think it was? There was a game on the PlayStation 2 called Brothers in Arms. Was it called Bound in Blood? Birthed in Blood? Something like that. Something in Blood. Right? The old Brothers in Arms series. It's long gone now. Long fucking gone. But there was a Horde mode in that where all it was you were just some dude in a fucking trench and you were just being attacked by like German soldiers in World War II. That's all it fucking was. And it just kept going and going and going and going and going. You played it, John?
Oh yeah, I absolutely adore the Brothers in Arms series. Road to Hill 30. I think it was Bound in Blood by the third one, and then it was Hell's Highway for the
Bound in
trilogy.
Blood's what it was called. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you.
if I remember right. If I remember right. But yeah, it was a great gameplay. It was following of 101st Airborne paratroopers and particular individuals that you carry on throughout the entire trilogy. But their horde mode was bare bones, really, if I remember right. It was
Yeah,
just like
the
put you in there.
story in that, the story was it's World War II.
Yeah, defend
There's your
the
story.
hill. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that was it. Defend the hill, defend this post, and that was it. And it was it. But still, there was enough of a thin line of story there for it to make sense within the universe. Yeah,
Even like another example I'll use is Halo Reach Firefight. The story in the firefight mode is, well, it's the invasion of Reach. That's it.
And with ODST, it's the invasion of Earth.
Yeah. Yeah.
With ODST's firefight, yeah.
So in Shimanuma, they added characters, which added voice lines, which added a lot of story. You take away them, and that does take away from your experience. As we've realized in Cold War, Vanguard, and I mean, even now you have bad characters that fucking fucks it up, right? So I think adding the characters and adding stories to it would do that exact thing. So having Richthofen as the evil German scientist who wants to torture zombies, Nikolai the drunk, Takio the samurai that has honor and stuff like that, always fighting for it, Tank Dempsey the US soldier, right? Just I do think taking away them it really does take away from the overall.
All right,
and then
now
you
you're
have
really about to
you really love the Call of the Dead characters when they started adding celebrities and stuff as well, because then there was more characters and more that, and that really adds to the map and in the experience. You take away that and you have nobody talking and stuff, it's not as good.
All right, I'm about to really fucking piss you off here, Mozza. The reason why those zombie characters exist, the original crew, the German, the Japanese,
Campaign.
the American, and the Russian, is because those are the 4 factions that you can play as in World at War. It was built around that.
Yeah. No, yeah, they're even in the campaign. You can find them in the campaign.
Yeah. Like Nikolai is the guy that gets he's always writing in his journal, and Reznov's abusing him the whole time.
You can actually snipe Richthofen in the campaign because you can see.
Yeah, that is Richthofen. Yeah, he's the general where they do enemy at the gates. Yeah, that is him. And Dempsey is Sergeant Roebuck.
Because at the time,
and Takio's the dude that cuts your throat, isn't he?
No. But he is somewhere there. But no, he's not the guy that cuts your throat. But yeah, so at the time they didn't have much resources and stuff, so they reused character things. Because you gotta remember, this Horde mode was just a fuck you to Activision. They didn't even know it was in the game. So they had to use a lot of resources that they already had, characters and all that. But I do feel like the story that they added to the characters and stuff really added to those characters. Like Richthofen. I mean, where did his story fucking end with like the Richthofen that we know blowing up the fucking earth? You know what I mean? It's stuff like that. That having that. Oh my fuck, that gets me addicted to zombies. It's just so, when I go to other Horde modes, you don't fucking have that experience, that, oh my fuck. And then you lead into Black Ops 2 and you see, like, you're seeing transit and we're thinking it's going to be good, but it ended up being kind of shit. But like those experiences,
I can see Kareem wants to jump in. Before he does though, before Kareem jumps in, oh my God, he's tweaking out. So something like Space Marine 2 Horde mode, which isn't out as of this recording.
Yep.
You could because that game's got its own operations mode, all right?
Exactly. And
separate, which is its own separate thing. It's not campaign, it's not multiplayer, it's not Horde.
Yep.
Mini missions, think Spec Ops, Modern Warfare 2 type of stuff.
Right? I have an idea for that, but
with the Horde mode for that, it could just simply be go into this spot and fucking kill everything you see in the name of the Emperor. That's it. That's your story.
No, but okay, so I would expand it more. Imagine if you were I'm forgetting the blue guys because I'm not the biggest Warhammer guy. But what happens if you're them and in the operation you fucking die, and then you have to send in the fucking this could be like the last map or something, and you send in the Death Watch.
Death Watch.
And then boom, That is a fucking great story right then and there. And you're like, holy fuck, the normal soldiers can't defeat it, but the Death Watch are going in. I'd be hyped as fuck. I'd be ready to go on that map. You know what I mean? That's all you need for something like the Warhammer, because honestly, the Warhammer one doesn't even need to be as connected as, say, something like Zombies. The Warhammer one could be as simple as, we fucking saved. That's saving the universe this time. The amount of enemies and stuff they have, but if it is connected, it would be fucking better, because the amount
Would
of
you say
enemies.
that's the same for a Halo then? For a Halo Horde mode, it could just be the Covenant's attacking this planet. We've deployed a Spartan response team.
You could. That's the thing, and you could have operations leading into that. But one thing, the thing that's holding back, in my opinion, Halo is actually the upgrade system and stuff like that. There's no progression in that, in the gameplay loop. I get very bored with it, and it just sometimes it takes forever for those fucks to play.
So you're saying if the gameplay loop was better, it would make it a great Horde mode?
Yes.
Okay. So here's my thing. We're kind of, I think the real question we're saying is, does a Horde mode need a story in order to be good? Right? Like, I don't think it does. Objectives are very different than having its own story like COD does. COD has its, I know they're technically connected, but it has its own story, right? Something like Space Marine, it will have objectives, right?
Will it?
That's different.
Will it, though?
That's
the thing. That's what I'm worried about. That's why I'm worried about it, because how will they do the upgrade system? How will they do abilities? How will they do all that? That's what I'm worried about for Space Marine. And for something like Space Marine, where they have the fucking characters, where they have the universe, and where they have all that, they need to fucking go into that. Because, dude, I would love a fucking Horde mission where we have orcs again, man. I would like to have there's so much they could do with that. The Horde mode can't just be fucking spawn, let's kill some fucking enemies for 15 minutes, and let's fucking dip. That would be so fucking... it wouldn't even be boring, but it'd be a waste of the fucking universe, in my opinion. It would really be a waste of the universe that they could use for the Horde mode. Like, yes, you can have fun for 15, 20 minutes, fine, but that's the difference between good and great, I suppose. Yes, you can have a good Horde mode, but do you want one that people go back to 5 years, 10 years from now? I still go back to Black Ops 3, and it is officially 10 years old. And it's because of the story, the gameplay loop. If you can get all that together and fucking make it a good story and add it together, go to the
mods. It already has a good story. It has the campaign.
Yeah, but if you do a Horde mode with the story and stuff like that, where you connect the operations and stuff like that, we have been begging.
The operations are already connected to the story. That's the thing.
But if the Horde mode,
is technically
most Horde
connected.
modes, but if it's just
Minus
a survival
PvP.
thing. But if it's just a survival where you just jump in with this random planet and you go for 15, 20 minutes, whatever, until you die, right?
What's wrong with that?
It doesn't have a story then. The actual Horde mode doesn't have a story.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But that's not going to be good for long lasting. I truly believe it, especially if it doesn't have weapon upgrades. Because it won't engage players, it won't give them back. Like, I feel like a lot of people, especially with something around the corner like fucking Killing Floor, I feel like a lot of people will fucking leave that or not even try it because they got Killing Floor or COD Zombies, and it's like, okay, why would I play this bare minimum game mode that the devs haven't really tried when I have other things that are fucking going crazy, adding story, doing all that?
Hold on. We can't, just because they don't add a whole fucking story, and upgrade system to it, doesn't mean it's a bare minimum. I mean,
I would argue that's bare minimum. I'd argue that's bare minimum.
I think what Moz is saying here is that if you don't add more than what just the gameplay loop and the core mechanics of Horde mode is for your game, and if you're trying to go for a sequel or something new, it's not going to attract people. It's going to draw people. People are going to look at the previous one that they have or is cheaper on the market and say, well, I can get the same amount of fun out of that. It's the hook of the story, something new to discover with the next game.
I get that.
At least
I get that.
Tell me if I'm wrong, Moz.
I get that.
We talk about how many battle royales there are. We talk about how many all that. There's so many fucking basic Horde mode games that get left on Steam. Like, holy fuck, I just played one, yet another survival game, right? Like, bare minimum, just very few upgrades. No one's ever gonna fucking talk about it because it's just Horde.
I think I have a counter to you, Mozza. Now, it's not, I wouldn't completely put it in the Horde mode category, but it's somewhat similar. And this game technically does have a story, but it's extremely bare minimum. And it's a lot more objective based as opposed to story mode.
Yep.
Left 4 Dead. Left 4 Dead 2.
Perfect. That would be fucking amazing. But more if they did that. This is actually the thing. They had it actual Horde like round 1 and stuff. That is actually really fucking good.
You mean a wave? Like wave?
Yeah, round 1. Sorry. I actually think that would be really fucking good because I actually thought that's what they would try and do with their new one, Blood, whatever that shit one was the card. See, another example of if you do the upgrades bad and that loop is bad, fucking no one wants to play it, man.
But wouldn't it be bare minimum? Let's say for Space.
What do you think is bare minimum for a Horde mode? Because I think spawn in is what's bare minimum? What do you expect from a Horde mode? Because I have high hopes for Horde mode because that's my favorite. So when Project Z, right, that's going to be more objective based, but I'd still say that's Horde, right, because of the zombies.
I think the bare minimum for me for a Horde mode is like World at War minus any Easter eggs. It's just that gameplay loop and a wave system. But here's the thing. What if, because they have the Swarm engine, what if Space Marine doesn't have a traditional wave system and they do something unique on that end, but you don't have a separate story for it. You're just there. You're just there killing stuff.
I think
that's I don't think it is because it's a fourth game mode. Right? It's not even like a tertiary game mode because that's PvP.
If you're not going to be making the best, I'm very much, if you're going to make something, you fucking go for it. You try and make the very best thing that you can, right? I'm very much like that, right? So if you're just adding this shitty Horde mode that well, it's not.
Okay. There's a difference between something being not fully fleshed out the way you want it to be and it being shitty. A basic Horde mode doesn't mean it's shitty. It just means it's not being fully fleshed out. For example, maybe they fully fleshed out other things. I think the operations are more fleshed out. They put their effort into other things, whereas other modes just aren't up to that snuff. You're not going to be able to put everything up to that snuff. It would take a long fucking time, but it's a good idea to have it anyways because it will add to the enjoyment of the players.
No, having too many different game modes takes away from it. I would rather a really good Horde mode than say because right now that means they're taking away from the multiplayer right now. They're taking away from the more operations right now. So what would be the point of making this Horde mode if right now if it's just a basic Horde mode, I would rather another operations fucking map.
Well, it depends on how they're tackling the Horde mode itself anyways, because what they could do, which what a lot of games have done, is they take particular locations in their campaign or within operations that they have with regards to Space Marine 2, and they just enclose that. They take that little section of the map, and that's your Horde mode. That's your Horde map. Yeah. So we don't know what they're doing, whether it's going to be unique, brand new maps, or it's going to be rip-offs of different parts of the campaign or the operations maps. Well, we're going to have to find out on that.
I'm sorry, I don't see a problem. I was just going to say, I don't see a problem. I don't see a problem with it just being a basic, right? And not basic in a negative way. I mean, basic in basically it is checking off all the things for a Horde mode, putting that in. I don't think that's a problem because the rest of the game is really fucking good. Right? Yeah, that's my thing. If it's something like Left 4 Dead and it's just kind of basic, it's like, no, you got to do more than that because that is your whole fucking game. When it's something like Zombies at this point where it is, I would argue, probably as equal to fucking multiplayer, or at least campaign as equal. Multiplayer is always bigger. It's equal to the campaign. I think there's more people who want to play Zombies than the actual fucking campaigns at this point. So for that, okay, I
Well,
understand. You're going to put more effort. It's your secondary game mode. You want that to kick ass. With this, it's a fun thing for people to play. They're just adding it for fun. I don't think it needs to be fully fleshed out. If it was fully fleshed out, great. That's fantastic. I would love that. But I don't think it needs that. And I think that's the key of what we're saying. A Horde mode doesn't need to be fully fleshed out. If it is, that's fucking amazing. That's, you know, that's like a fucking Christmas bonus, right? But, you know, we just need it to be this basic level of achieving what a Horde mode should. It doesn't need the story. If the story is great, I would love them all to have great stories and great gameplay loops. That's just not going to happen because, let's be honest, Horde modes aren't a main feature for most games they're in. Even COD, it didn't start out as a main feature. It was just a fucking thing they tagged on at the end. And I think World at War's Horde mode is fucking great.
Yeah, exactly, and that added the story and stuff, right? And the gameplay loop was fantastic. I'm not gonna argue with that, but that's the difference between, because I want to be excited for when Space Marine 3 comes out and they have a Horde mode. I want them to expand on that Horde mode. I feel like if they just do a basic thing, people are gonna forget about it, move to operations, or just say, where's the next operations? I feel like a majority of player base will be like, oh, well, this was a waste of time. You should have just done another operations mode, another operation map or something. I do.
If you do it badly, yes.
Where Space Marine's going to be a little bit different is that swarm engine, where if they just cram the map with Tyranids, that's going to be different. Because you look at like Black Ops 6 Zombies, where it's capped at however many zombies it is on the map. And if you turn your back on them, they despawn and respawn in front of you. Like Space Marine's going to be a little bit different because of its engine. And you're not going to have that issue. You're going to have like hundreds of these cunts on screen at once.
You can have that with operations mode, though. That's the thing. If it's very basic and very thing,
the difference is though, operations is more, I guess, more like Left 4 Dead in the sense that it's objective based. You go from A to B, do whatever the task is, move on. Whereas a Horde mode, I would imagine, again, it's not out as of this recording,
we don't even know what they're doing.
I would imagine it's just a big fucking swarm running at you. So there probably would be like turrets and shit that you set up like in the campaign, but I would imagine it's just a swarm running at you, and you're just gonna have, you know, your chainsaw in one end, you're just gonna start fucking hacking them up.
All you need,
and every now and then a big mini boss type of thing.
Yeah, the bosses and stuff like that. And I actually think, you know, it would actually been a really good start to one of the Horde modes. The secret level. Imagine like where you like the operations.
Fucking good,
that's what I'm fucking talking about. The story
would be
because it would be fucking tastic. And I'm telling you. I'm telling you right now, people will abandon this shit after 2 months if it's a basic as fuck, and we're not getting these cool fucking stories. And I'm sorry, if it was just a normal basic bitch zombie fucking Horde mode, I'd be like, okay, yep, cool, I'm gunning them down, I'm having fun, swarm. But we are talking about Space Marine 2 fucking Horde mode, where they have the characters, they have the fucking stories.
I think the majority of Space Marine 2 characters are just in general most interested in the campaign as opposed to a Horde mode. Like, I think a Horde mode is going to be a Call of Duty World at War situation. It's going to be like, hey, that's there and that's pretty fun. But I mean, say with Gears of War, most Gears of War players would rather go and do the campaign again than do the Horde mode. And especially Gears 3, that Horde mode is still fucking considered one of the better ones.
But it never reached that level of COD Zombies, which they went in detail on the upgrade system, the story, and stuff like that. So I would love to see them add more story to it, because the thing. My problem with this is the universe and stuff. This Horde mode, if they put in the work, they put in the story, they got the good game loop, this could be better than COD Zombies, especially in the state that COD Zombies is in the state of. You know what? I guess maybe I just wanted an actual competitor to COD Zombies, because the basic bitch Horde mode, if it is just what you guys are saying, like it's a big swarm and stuff, that won't compete with zombies. Even right now, it won't compete with zombies, right? It will have a play, like it may get a little player base. It won't be a massive player base like COD Zombies, but if they add everything I'm asking for, I think they could actually go, dude. I think they could do fucking better, because you've already got the Warhammer universe fans. And then if you go in depth, and maybe some new people who don't know the Warhammer lore that much, this could be their in as well. That's the thing, right? They could really go and like imagine finding a soldier and walking up to him, and then he drops like an intel thing, kind of like in COD Zombies, where you get a little bit more story and you find out what happened to him or stuff like that, and then it hypes up the fucking their version of the elite, right? And it got killed by him, and then you're like, oh my god, what the fuck did that to him? Or just stuff like that that makes that map more immersive and stuff like that. I would fucking love for that. You know what I mean? That's what I want.
It sounds like
gotcha.
it sounds like there is a point that we're all agreeing on. It's just the further elaborations on the points that are talking. Hold on, that are kind of speaking past each other. Sounds like what we can all agree on is that what's mandatory for a horde mode is that core gameplay loop. That if so long as that's good, you have a solid base. What Maz is trying to say is that there's so many games that are at the solid base and they just do that solid base that it just feels boring these days, and that you need to add more to it, bring that story, get that more elaboration into the gameplay loop as well, like with the upgrades and all kinds of the boss fights and all that jazz. And it's like they're pretty much.
Yeah, I don't necessarily disagree that. Oh, I don't disagree at all. If they did all that stuff, it would make the horde mode, pretty good. It would make it actually a great horde mode. But what I'm arguing is, for it to be good, it doesn't need to do that. What it needs is that competitive. And I'm sorry, I don't think you'll be able to change my mind on this, because I do agree that everything you said would be fucking fantastic if they did it. I hope they do it. But again, this is a 4th tier game mode for the game. It's coming out after the release. It's not a main focus of the game. The main focus is campaign, then operations, then PvP. PvP isn't even a focus. And then we have the horde mode.
That's the thing. My problem.
They're doing it just to add stuff to the game for people to have fun and play with. That's the thing. It's like an arcade mode. Yeah, but it's like an arcade mode.
And
the thing is, like,
time and detail into that, and we would get more out of the operations than a basic horde mode. I don't understand just going basic with a horde mode, especially with this universe. I feel like if you're gonna do a horde mode,
I can explain it.
Why delay it for so long as well? Like, they delayed it for a full year. If they weren't gonna do it, like, it'd be pretty wild. Like, a basic horde mode should just be there at launch. If it was just gonna be basic, like, why?
I think the reason they delayed it was because there was a lot of problems when they were a part of Embracer, that they had to go and delay certain parts of the game in order to make sure the main function of the game that people wanted, which was operations and story mode, were going to be able to be released on time.
Here's one thing I think you might be overlooking, Moz, is sometimes in a horde mode, a lot of people do just want to fucking kill waves of aliens, waves of zombies, waves of monsters, whatever it is. Oh, but did you know that Richtofen did this? I don't know what the fuck a Richtofen is. Thunder gun go brr.
Yeah, but there's a reason why the COD zombie fan base is so there, because I jump on zombies and I just go round for round sometimes. I don't worry about the story. I don't worry about anything. But what's got me addicted is that story. So if you want me like extra addicted and keep coming back and stuff like that, it would be those little things. Because realistically, why would I stick around for this horde mode? That is my argument.
Because Thunder gun go brr. That's why.
because I want to kill a fuck ton of aliens and I don't want to have to replay the story a 5th time.
It sounds to me, Moz, that you gotten spoiled, and you're looking at everything else. It just does not compete. That's it.
Oh, COD Zombies.
Well, that's it. I will admit, zombies.
Time.
Yeah, that's it.
Zombies.
No one's gonna argue, man. Kino is pink.
You know what this is? Moz has been fucking 9s and he sees a 7 and he's like, ugly.
No,
it's a 1 bitch.
I don't accept mid bitches in my kitchen.
7 mid.
Like she could be an 8 if she added this. If she put on that, it could be a 9.
Yeah.
And if she could be a fucking
remember the golden
rule.
Remember the golden rule. If she's a 7, but she lets you pee on her or do butt stuff to her, she's a 9.
Mm-hmm.
All right, go on, Moz.
Fuck.
My point is like, why does it have to be so in depth with a plot line and all this type of shit? All I want is to go, hey, I got the ray gun, fuck you.
Yeah, but okay. My argument would be, why fucking have it then? Like, because you already get the swarm right in the operations and stuff like that, and that adds to the campaign, right, and stuff like that. I just feel like my main argument is, why do it in this universe if you're not going to go full in on it? Because this
Specifically,
I
Space
feel-
Marine.
Specifically Space Marine, this universe, I feel like it could compete with God, and so I want it to. I'm sick of accepting fucking mid for video games. It's like we're saying, like, why are all these games not fucking evolving and just being like, okay, I'll do bare fucking minimum. I don't want that anymore. Horde mode especially. Holy fuck, there's a lot of mid horde modes. I want it to evolve. I want it to be better because Zombies is kind of stuck in the same fucking loop right now with Black Ops 6. They tried to do something new and it's fucking awful, right? But I fucking think if they could get the gameplay and add some story elements just to get like the hardcore fans like me, because there's always going to be that casual and hardcore fans, right, of the Horde mode, just the Horde mode in general, right? And if you can get both in, oh mate, you're going to the fucking moon.
Yeah,
you know,
it's not an easy line to fucking keep it, keep a straight walk on. Is that having that casual and hardcore fans having both those parties satisfied? And I think you're part of the hardcore fandom of Horde modes, where
we see the next level.
You've had so many times where you played the Horde
we
modes.
can
Where it's
see
been
it could be the best fucking mode in the world.
It's
John,
had, yeah, that's it.
Wasn't just saying he's better than you.
He's ascended to another plane of existence.
We understand that the Horde mode is the best mode, and we're just fucking better than you people. You guys are fucking filth. You fucking disgust me, all of you.
But Moz, the story is tied to the campaign, so wouldn't the campaign, in fact, be better than the Horde mode because of that?
The thing is, with Space Marine,
and it has more mechanics in it.
That's true. I could drive a car. I could go meep in the COD campaign.
You could do that in the Horde mode if they do it right. That's the thing. Horde mode
I can only drive a boat.
You know which Horde mode had cars and vehicles?
Halo. Yeah, but they were dog shit.
Didn't the Horde mode have a bus?
Yeah, we had a bus.
Yeah, it's called Fortnite. That's a battle bus.
We had the
talking about the transit bus.
Transit
was peak mods. Is this 40 minutes of you just coming to grips with the fact that transit's the best thing ever made?
Yeah.
Transit. You know what keeps you in transit? It's a dog shit map, but guess what keeps you playing transit? What? The gameplay loop and the fucking story for the cons.
I've got a hard disagree on that one.
It was the fact that my buddy forced me to fucking keep playing transit, and I was too cheap to pay for the DLC.
Why did you play transit? So you can run in.
I'll tell you, man, most people, well, when transit first came out, at least, when Black Ops 2 first came out, people just went back to fucking Kino on Black Ops 1. Yep. Not even the destroyed moon with all its lore and lava on the fucking ground could keep people there. People just went back to Kino to go thunder gun, go burr.
Yeah,
here's the thing. But you know what brought people back? Mob of the Dead with that fucking story, bitch.
Okay.
Mob of the Dead saved it.
Hold on a fucking. This is so much autism. Okay.
I can't wait to see the chat's comments on this one. This is going to be so fucking good. Anyway, go Cream and then John.
Yeah, so you basically at one point earlier said, well, why even have the mode in the game? You know why they're putting the... I would say, and this is under the assumption it is going to just be kind of a... I'm not even saying run-of-the-mill basic. I think with the Swarm engine, they're going to do a lot more with that. I think they're going to actually do a little bit of innovation on the Horde mode that even COD hasn't done. I just think with that Swarm engine, they have the ability to do a little bit more than other people. What I think it's the reason they're going to be doing that is because people want to fucking kill. I'm sorry, the best part of the game. I'm sorry. I like the story. The story's cool, but I just want to fucking chainsaw fuckers.
That gets boring.
You do that in the story, but you sit through all the cutscenes, you do all that, and I've played through. Let's say I played through the story, I played through the operations. I don't want to have to go through every single operation all the time again just to get that gameplay. I want to be able now to get in, chainsaw these fuckers, And yeah, I died.
Guess what?
I'll try to get my high score later on.
You can do that if they have an overarching story. You can do that with Black Ops 3.
But they
you can
don't
do that
need
with things. Yes,
You can
they
do that
fucking do.
They can do that if they want to.
Hold on.
They can do that if they want to. Simply because if they
Hold
want to.
on. What? Okay, John. Go on, John.
They can do that simply if they want to. That's it. That's all they need. They don't need to have this over elaborate story. That's to satisfy the customer, maybe for you. But when it comes to the developer side, if they want it, they'll put it in. They'll put aside the time and effort within the pipeline to put that in there to implement it. But yeah, this to what I see, it's the what makes a good Horde mode is that baseline core gameplay loop that all of them have, that we get a taste of within the campaign, within other games, within the other game modes within that game. But what makes them always greater, and what Mazza wants to see out of them, that he expects from them, from people like, especially like with Saber Interactive, 40K, Warhammer's such a rich story, is to have those stories, have that added addition to the core gameplay of this Horde mode, and add more to it so that it can attract the audience. But it really varies upon the individuals. The casual players, they don't really need such a big invitation for them to enter, to get their foot in the door for that Horde mode. All they need is a strong, very effective gameplay loop. Once they're there, if you want to add story to get them more hooked, that's fine. But once their foot's in the door with the game mode. And if they love it, they love it. But with
I'm right.
fans,
So I'm right. It's an addition, but not having it there is not a subtraction.
I would say
Exactly.
It's out of
with certain characters, I would say yes.
Does not diminish what
you take away Richtofen from Shimanuma. Shimanuma's not as good. You take away Richtofen from certain maps, it's not, that map is no longer as good because the character's just silent and mute, right? Like, say if you do that, some maps aren't as good for zombies, and you have to admit that. I mean, fucking Cold War wasn't as good because it didn't have characters talking and all that, right? Right now, Black Ops 6 isn't as good because we don't have those good.
Now, all right, but here's the question for that, Moz, because they weren't talking in Cold War, right? For example,
and it took away a lot, and that was one of the biggest complaints. Was
But what did that change? Did that change the way
story? It changed how we interact with the map. It changed how we interact with things.
No, go on. No, he's answering my question.
It changed. It changed so much how we interacted, how we upgraded the weapons. They didn't.
Well, no. It didn't change that. Them not talking has nothing to do with a workbench.
Oh, it takes. Yes, it does, because
it changes how you approach. But
exactly, it changes how adding immersion to the map. It takes away from.
So let's say hypothetically, Cold War had. No, I don't fucking know how. But Cold War had the original crew, the original Call of Duty Zombies crew, and you're playing as Richtofen, you go up to the bench and you build a turret, and it goes, "Oh, joy! I made automatic death sentry." Then everything's fine with the whole workbench system.
Not everything is fine, but it would.
But it's better then.
It is better, yes. And him going up to the
by
Pack-a-Punch
how
and being like,
much?
Pack-a-Punch. How much better is it when you're Richtofen or one of the characters and he goes up to the Pack-a-Punch and he goes crack?
Yeah, it's way better. It is way better. But does it actually change the core gameplay itself? I will bring honor upon your destruction. You go, that's cool.
It changes the experience, which ruins.
Okay, fair. Okay, but I think what Lethal's asking is, if the entire gameplay loop is you getting fucked by some black guy named Tyrone, and as you're walking to the
going nowhere,
but no, hold on. If the gameplay is shit. Okay.
Well, it's all that extra start bit. Exactly. You don't know what you're talking about. It changes the experience.
Talking about black sex.
Yeah, I feel fucking gay. It changes the experience, and it's why COD Zombies is better.
All right. What I'm trying to say is, if the gameplay is fucking shit, it doesn't matter how many fucking dialogue options there are for, I put the gun in the Pack-a-Punch, but it's not fun shooting the gun because the recoil's all over the fucking place. It's a little thing. It's not as stuff that you said about the workbench and stuff like that. It is a minor thing, and yes, it is an improvement, but it's not going to.
It does take away from the
game that is mid.
It does take away from the experience, and it adds to a game that isn't fucking mid, like COD Zombies. It adds to it and makes it a 10 and 10.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm with Cream on this one, man.
No,
This is wild.
if you take away, we've seen this. If you take away, fucking Richtofen and that from Shimanuma and the map, the two maps that they were in, it is a worse experience. It is. It like
By
you
how
won't
much,
have
though?
as much fun.
Is it like
fucking
not
deal.
worth?
All right, I
playing?
just
a matter of
one final
fucking
question
deal.
on this topic. One final question on this topic. All right. Again, hypothetically, somehow the original COD Zombies is in there. All right.
Right, yep. Just the gameplay loop, but on the other maps. Okay.
Is Vanguard all of a sudden a better Zombies mode? Because that fucker sucked asshole.
It fucking sucked asshole, and another reason is because we didn't have those characters and we had annoying as fuck characters. So having a good cast is very important, especially to COD Zombies. Would you not argue that having those demons talk were fucking annoying and worsened the experience because they weren't a good cast? Would you say that they ruined the experience?
I would say they did make it worse, but if they weren't there and it was still the same, just without them, it's
It'd be
still
better,
fucking
though.
Vanguard Zombies.
It would be a lot better experience with like Nikolai's reaction and stuff. There'd be less annoying shit in it. I would argue.
All right. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna go around, and we're just gonna give our final statement on this topic, and the chat's gonna tell us what they think about it. I can't wait to fuck. Maybe we'll read the comment section on this one live because this will be a fucking wild one. All right,
That's the
we're
next
gonna
one.
leave Mozza to fucking last, I reckon. Let's start with John. John, closing
Okay.
statements on this
Well,
fucking autism. And before we go, thank you, channel members. Seriously, thank you, channel members.
Yeah.
You're gonna see
Thank you
this
so much,
first.
guys.
Jesus
yeah.
Christ.
For me, I think you guys both have very valid points at the core of your arguments on both sides. But it's the elaborations, the finer details of what you guys are looking for in those games that you're getting a little lost, talking a little past each other. Whereas Mazza is looking for that further elaboration. But for you guys, it's just fine. If the gameplay is fine, there's it adds, yeah, sure, but it's not a necessity. But which I can understand. It really falls upon the games and the perspective of the individual. For casuals, it may be an easier way of entry for them to have less or more. And for people like Mazza who have been like totally inundated with these rich storylines and these rich elaborations into this horde mode, that everything else feels stale. That he wants to see more out of them. I get that. I could totally get that.
Yeah, but what do you think, John?
I love
Stop explaining. Everyone just watched 52 minutes of it. Fucking
me, it's
give
about-
us what you think.
Well, you're talking about black men having sex. You shut up, bitch.
Yeah, go call Mike.
Yeah, shut up, boy.
Kids done. All right. For me, it's the core gameplay that's really a value. But it's I'm on both sides. It's like if you're gonna give me story, all right, sure, I'll take it. That's more. You're adding more to it. I'm in the middle. I'm fence sitting on this one. Yeah.
You're
both
fucking
right.
gay then.
Yeah, you're more gay.
Fucking
You're more gay.
Really quick,
both
Mozza,
of you
Mozza,
guys
I
fucking
can't call you a
bitch.
black man having fucking sex. Bitch.
Mozza, would you have more respect for John if he just came out and said that he agreed with me and Cream?
I would actually have more respect, yeah. Or if he fucking sat down and said, "Mother, you're a piece of shit. Fuck your idea," I'd have way more respect. Fuck this fence sitting gay shit.
Fuck off.
Yeah,
If the gameplay is good, I'm
know
like
what?
puts in the door. And if the elaboration and if it's better, if they add more story to it, I'm good. I'm happy. That's even better. Okay, there's still got to be.
sitting, bitch.
How is that a?
How's that a fence? How is that a fence sitting, Mozza?
Because he just
He chose
repeated
the
what he said
side.
earlier. No, he didn't. He just said, "Hey,
Christ.
no, he didn't.
No,
No, he
it's like-
didn't. He just said,
No,
Let
you
him
don't
cook.
understand
Let him
much. You don't
cook, Mozza,
understand
you
much.
retard.
If that core gameplay is not there, like what Cream and Lethal is saying, then
Yes.
I'm not putting my foot in the door.
Yep.
There's no way I'm touching the fucking horde mode. The horde mode sucks.
Yeah,
All right,
neither-
Cream. No, Mozza, you get your turn at the end, you motherfucker. You sit down there and think about the
Wait,
horrible
fuck
things
your
you said.
Hawaii.
Did you just hold on? Did you just say
Thank
fuck my Hawaii?
Yeah, fuck your Hawaii shirt and fuck this soccer mum looking bitch down here.
Cream,
Fucking
your turn,
what?
buddy.
All right. Okay, so all the jokes aside about, Tyrone, gay sex simulator, zombie COD, or whatever the fuck I said. Look, I think Moz is having a different argument than what we are, and I think that's why this is turning into full autism. I can't agree with what Moz is saying fully. I agree with probably about like 60% of what Moz said. I think it's pretty lit. Like, why the fuck did I say pretty lit? Holy shit, I'm fucking retarded, aren't I? Look, if it has
Zoomer.
that, shut the fuck up, you fucking.
Oh well, you're
alcohol
stuttering,
syndrome.
on. You're just.
Why don't you all
fucking
shut the
yourself
fuck up and let Cream have what he says? God damn.
Oh well, we were
Jesus
letting him, and he was
fucking Christ.
stuttering.
All right, meth baby, shut up.
Yeah, keep stuttering for me, bitch.
I didn't stutter, you fucking
Yeah,
idiot.
you did.
All right.
You sound bad.
Anyway,
What is wrong with you two? You two are both cooked.
all right. Anyways, like I was saying, I actually fucking agree somewhat that, look, if you have all that added shit on top of it, right? That, the fries and the, with your burger, let's just say, right? That makes it better. It does, but it doesn't need it. You can just eat the fucking burger and have a good time eating the burger. You don't need the fries. I'm not saying that if it didn't have, let's say it does have its own story mode, I'm not going to be disappointed. I'm going to say, hey, they put in that extra effort that I wasn't expecting into this on top of a good Horde mode. This is fantastic. I hope they actually do. But they don't need to do that as the base level. And that's been my entire argument this entire time. They don't need to. I hope they do.
Okay, all right. Moz, go on.
I think to compete, they do. They do need to add that extra story bit because right now, COD Zombies is the best one. And I believe this universe and all that story can beat COD Zombies. And that's what I want. I want a Horde mode that can actually... Ever since World at War came out, there's never been a Horde mode even close to COD Zombies, and I truly believe this universe, this story, and all that can get there. It can surpass COD Zombies. So I wanted to go beyond what is capable of Horde modes right now. I wanted to go to the fucking moon, and I hope they're putting in so much fucking effort, and I want them to compete, because if this is just a basic Horde mode, everyone will probably be done with it within 2 months.
All right. Well, I'm Team Cream on this one, man. But let's put it to the chat. Chat, what do you think? What is it that makes a good Horde mode? And how important is story on a Horde mode? I am really looking forward to reading the comments on this one. I think this is our best one yet. But thank you again to the channel members. You guys get access to this one first. I'm telling you, 2025, man. If 2025 was the year of the retard, well, 2024 was the year of the Gronk. So what's 2025? Year of the autism?
No, it's the tsunami. Year of the tsunami, I'm calling it.
What?
Fucking what?
Yeah, 2025, the year of the tsunami, baby.
All right, everyone get away from fucking coastlines.
Wait, hold on. What do you mean the tsunami? What, there's going to be a flood?
You're going to have to fucking watch Gronk to find out, bitch!
If it's an autism tsunami, I agree with Moz. I think there's
Should've
a lot
drained
of
that
retards
ocean,
out
Lethal.
there.
Autism tsunami. All right, well, there we go. Autism tsunami.